I want to introduce our next speaker from the Christopher Street Project, who is Tyler Hack, who's been doing some really rad work that if you haven't seen on their Instagram or their website, just getting some awesome speakers and people to really send the message about organizing and what's so important for our rights. So Tyler, I'm going to give it to you to talk about yourself and your org, and we'll put your link in the chat as you speak.
Thank you so much, Elliot. Thank you all for being here today. Happy Pride. I'm so excited to be here with all of you. My name is Tyler Hack. I use they, them pronouns, and I'm the executive director of the Christopher Street Project. We are a new organization focused on electoral and legislative advocacy for the trans community. I'm sure, like myself, all of you saw the attacks last fall from the Trump administration and MAGA Republicans on trans kids, putting the faces of trans kids on TV, kids who had no idea that they would be involved in anything political are now suddenly showing up on TV. And after the election, a lot of people were looking for someone to scapegoat. And even some Democrats were saying things like, maybe we lost because I don't want my daughters playing sports with boys. And in that moment, I was working in Washington, D.C., working to elect Democrats up and down the ballot, and wanted to see a little more than what we got in terms of holding those folks accountable, regardless of their party affiliation. It's really important that our leaders know that we're here, we're paying attention, and that we will hold them accountable when they say something that's out of line. We knew with the attacks that would be coming from the Trump administration come January that we couldn't afford those defections. So we got to work. We had conversations with organizations who've been doing the work for decades. We had conversations with lawmakers, with members of Congress, and asked folks, where do you get your talking points when it comes to trans issues? And people often just do what they think is right. And I think that is amazing. And we needed to build a level of coordination that we hadn't really seen before. So that is what we have been doing at Christopher Street Project since we launched in January. We've been focused on both the legislative side of things, giving people talking points about how to talk about these issues, how we connect trans issues with Americans who don't think they've ever met a trans person. Because when people hear about something like healthcare being taken away from trans people, they're upset. That does not, people are not on board with that. So making sure that we actually reach out to people, meet them where they are, and talk about the trans experience from kind of a hearts and minds perspective to make sure that we can take back the narrative is really important. And we've also been building political power like we've never seen before, making sure that these members of Congress know that if they stand up for trans people, that we will stand up for them. We have been in these rooms, talking to members of Congress and telling them how to advocate for trans people in Congress and at the ballot box. We've seen some great examples of people like Governor Andy Beshear, who was able to effectively hold off anti-trans attacks. They spent tens of millions of dollars attacking him for vetoing a nasty anti-trans bill. And he would say, I think all children are children of God, and it's not the job of the state government to come in here and dictate what should be up to local families and communities. And he won in a Trump plus 30 state by 5 points. It's really important that we give folks that playbook so that they actually understand how we connect with all of these communities. We need leaders who actually understand what we are going through in this moment, because the attacks coming from the Trump administration are on all fronts. They're attacking trans people when it comes to gender affirming care, and they're attacking doctors. They're attacking education and people just being able to learn about trans issues, and they're attacking teachers who are using the correct names and pronouns for kids. They're attacking active duty service members and having them dishonorably discharged from the military, and attacking veterans who are just trying to get the gender affirming care that they need. It has been an attack on all fronts like we frankly never seen before, and we are pushing people to actually stand up for trans Americans because we don't have room for anything else in this moment. So we're really glad to be here with so many organizations and leaders who have been doing the work in all of these fields. And we need to make sure that we are fighting on all fronts, that we are fighting legislatively, electorally, but also, as so many organizations have been doing and have been talking about here today, fighting in our communities, in mutual aid, actually connecting people in all of these different issue areas, whether that be adoption or foster care, or all of these important things that we then can bring to our members of Congress at a macro level and say, look at this important work being done here at the local level. This is what we need to highlight. This is what we need to fund. And actually bringing those stories to members of work that's happening in their districts. If there's a gender affirming care clinic, it's in a congressional district. We need to make sure that those members know what is happening on the ground and how this work is impacting people. So we will continue doing the work in DC to make sure that people understand the attacks against the trans community and what they need to do to stand up and fight back. And I would encourage you all to join us, to get plugged in, to contact your representatives, to talk to them about your experience, and to stand up for trans people in this moment in any way that you know how.
Thank you so much, Tyler. Could you tell us, what do you do for joy when you're not working and organizing? What do you do to fill up your cup?
Yeah, I think it's such an important thing right now. And I have been getting joy from hanging out with friends and family and being able to find spaces that I'm supportive, that I can be truly myself, that I don't need to worry about being, too political or have to worry about policing my own identity, and can actually just take a moment to kind of exhale.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as I mentioned, ChristopherStreetProject.org is in the chat to learn more. You can also find them on Instagram or social media. They've got some really great videos from like celebrities you would know, shouting them out and doing this work and trying to get folks to really turn out. So please go check that out. And Tyler, kudos to you and all your hard work on this. I think you're what, like 20 something?
20.
20, right? So like Tyler's crushing it, y'all. So we're going to keep fighting the fights, and you are one of those people that gives me motivation to keep going myself. So thank you, Tyler, for everything.
Thank you so much, Elliot. Appreciate your work and appreciate you all for being here. Let's keep fighting, and happy Pride.
Pride, yes. All right. Well, thank you, Tyler.